here.
We're here.
We've been here, actually. We've been down here fucking around for like 45 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's been like a really long time of fucking around. We have a new fancy thing that has lights and sound effects. I don't know what to call it. What would you call it?
Soundboard?
Soundboard.
Is it a soundboard?
Is that what you would call it?
Mixer?
I would call it a mixer.
See, and Alex he could just be here.
He has capabilities.
He has capabilities to comment, but he's mostly muted. He also has the sound effects. Do the fun one. Do the fun sound effect.
Which fun sound effect?
You know what one? The fun one.
Like the laughter?
No, the one with the whoo, that one.
The mysteriosity is one.
The second one on the right. That one. I love it so much. Oh, I love it. We can't click the buttons because they're too far away from us, but just know that they're there, and I could get a ruler or like a yardstick, and I could I could hit him in the face with it, and then I could push a button. That would work, right? You're like, why did I have to get hit in the face? What did that add to it? Just for fun. Anyway, so yeah, we're here.
We're live.
We're live in a pod dungeon where the vibes are becoming more vibey by the day.
Yep. Gonna have lights soon.
The lights will be here today. Oh, it says, that's not good. It says delivery attempted today at 11:23.
Well,
no.
son of a biscuit.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Too busy going up into space and shit. Selfish bastard.
I almost asked who's Jeff. I was like, who the fuck are we talking about? Is that the Amazon driver's name?
Such a delivery guy's name. But okay, yeah, we're here. And I'm Morgan.
I'm Meara.
And we are Mysteriosities. I started it today. Beautiful. Perfect. Iconic. Never been seen before. Well, it's Meara's episode today, and she's feeling like I guess I'm talking, and she's just going to stare at me repeatedly over Minerva over and over again.
The podcat is here.
The podcat just bounded down the stairs. It was actually super cute.
That's the way she always goes downstairs.
It just had it was very high energy.
It's like as if she says, I'm here.
She's like, oh, you guys are recording? I wasn't aware. I'm sorry I'm late. We're going to talk about something weird and odd and strange. And honestly, if it happened to me, I would move to another country.
Another country?
Oh, yeah.
That's a little excessive.
Goodbye, America. Like, I need another excuse to move to Canada.
This actually happened in Canada. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't fuck with me. I know it didn't happen in Canada. I've listened to the BuzzFeed Unsolved episode about this.
You have?
Yeah.
I didn't even see one.
Oh, I'm positive there's one. You know how Shane and Ryan have their own company now, and it's called Watcher?
Yeah. Oh.
Where do you think that came from?
The Watcher House.
I mean, or I'm wrong, and it just means Watcher, but I always thought it was because of the house.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know them. They're not my friends or anything. But I just pretend that I know what they're thinking.
Be our friend.
I love them. Okay. But yeah,
Give us a shout out.
Oh, wow. That would be nice, but I don't think that would happen. Anyway, so yeah, Meara is going to be talking about the Watcher House, and I will stop there and let her take over.
New Jersey.
Why did I think it was on the West Coast for some reason?
No.
I am incorrect.
New Jersey.
It's in New Jersey.
The town is Westfield. Maybe you're thinking West. Like,
thank you for trying to give.
This microphone is pissing me off.
You were trying to give me credit, but no, I definitely did not know that's what the city was called.
Yeah, it's called Westfield.
I definitely just thought that it was in, like, California or something for some reason.
All right, so we're going to start off with the history of Westfield and the Watcher House. So Westfield is named for the farm fields just west of Elizabeth in New Jersey.
Wow, I'm floored.
Westfield began to urbanize due to the coming of the train in the 1850s.
We love a railroad.
Yeah,
We love a railroad.
get shit done.
I'm saying.
The boulevard, which is the street that the Watcher House was on, the boulevard was one of the first major thoroughfares through New Jersey.
Sorry, I was putting my Diet Coke down really
It's
quietly.
fine. It was originally named Boulevard Ripley after Chauncey Ripley. So then it was just shortened to Boulevard at the turn of the century.
Chauncey.
Yeah, that's his name.
That's a name right there.
It's an old-fashioned.
That's a name that sounds like a guy who was working on the railroad, to be honest.
So he inherited an estate from one of Westfield's founding fathers, whose name was Gideon Ross. And Chauncey Ripley became one of the main developers in the area.
I just can't
So-
get over that name.
Chauncey.
Yeah.
So then he started building homes. The 500 block of the boulevard had Queen Anne style homes. And the 600 block, which is where the Watcher House is, were more architecturally diverse since it was completed about a decade later.
Fair. Architecture styles be changing.
Residents of Westfield referred to it as the real life Mayberry.
Okay.
Do you know Mayberry?
No.
I knew you wouldn't. It's Andy. Why was I going to say Andy Serkis? No.
Andy Circus.
Oh my God, Andy Griffith.
Oh. No. That was a beautiful whistle, though.
Not that good. I'm not that great of a whistle.
I can't whistle, so.
So the Watcher House was a Dutch colonial that was built in 1905. It was located at 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey.
And it was haunted.
No.
It just feels like it should be haunted if it's from 1905.
Oh, it may have been. But that wasn't included in
I
this.
know, but I just feel like it should be.
It has 6 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and 3,869 square feet.
Very exact.
Thanks, Zillow.
You really go on Zillow for that?
Yeah, you can see like when it was bought and everything on there. Yeah.
That's actually so funny.
Isn't it? Yeah. I was like, I need to know.
Just another reason that we love Zillow.
Yeah,
I go on Zillow every day.
me too.
I go, wow, I'm going to buy a house. And then I go, fuck, no, I'm not.
I like to look at the $1 million homes that I'll never be able to buy. I think it's fun. Like there's one, like I've seen some that have like big old basketball courts inside it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I bet they don't use it.
No, here's the thing. No, you're not using a basketball court. I'm sorry. You'd have to play that every day for that to be worthwhile. Like,
Yeah.
that's just silly pants.
And they're probably like 70 who own it.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Maybe they're just some b-ballers.
Because I know people our age can't afford that.
They're just some b-ballers playing some b-ball in their $1 million house in Ohio.
B-ball.
Some b-ball. You gotta call it b-ball.
Playing some b-ball outside of the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anyway. So William H. Davies, who eventually became the mayor of Westfield, bought the house in 1913. Guess how much for?
Hold on. $77,000.
$1.
I was wrong.
Okay. The home was struck by lightning in 1932, causing damage to the roof. That was just a little background. I don't know why.
Because lightning, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, y'all? Lightning.
They did fix it, and then Davies moved out in 1947 and sold it to his son and daughter-in-law
For $1.
for $1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was kidding.
And then
I guess if you get something for $1, you're kind of an asshole if you're like, that'll be $100,000.
right.
Like, okay, fine.
So then the son of Davies ended up selling the home in 1951 for another $1 to
Okay.
Dillard and Mary Bird.
But, like, that's not relative. Why aren't they actually trying to make some monies off of it
Isn't
now?
this crazy? And then
Want to know why they're trying to get rid of it? Ghosts.
in 1953, the Birds sold the home to the Backuses for $1.
Look, they're trying to get away from this house because there's demons in it.
Then in 1955,
Did you find all this shit on Zillow?
no. This was an article.
Okay. Oh, you didn't verify it on Zillow?
No.
You didn't double check your sources?
No.
Lazy.
Well, the more recent ones I
I'm
did.
just kidding. I don't even know how far Zillow goes back like that.
Then in 1955, the Backuses sold the family to the Schaefers.
They sold the family to the Schaefers?
Or
They're selling families? What is this shit?
they sold the home to the Schaefers
Okay. Ooh, I'm
for
40.
$1. The Schaefers remained in the home until 1990. That's when the Woods family bought the house, which is who the Broadduses bought it from.
Okay.
The Broadduses are who our story will surround.
Okay.
So the Broadduses bought the home for $1.3 million.
Okay, so the dollar thing is over now.
Yeah.
The dollar thing has come to an end.
Times 1.3 million.
Yeah, like, that would be an increase of 1.5 million. Thank you.
So kind of the story that goes along with this. Derek and Maria Broaddus bought their new home in 2014, bringing along their 3 children. This fulfilled a lifelong dream for Maria because she grew up in Westfield, just a couple blocks away from the house of 657 Boulevard.
So does she know that everyone was buying it for $1, but that they had to buy it for real money? Because I'd be kind of offended.
I mean, that was back in the 50s, though, so
I'd
I
still
don't
be
know
offended.
how much she knew about that, you know? Like,
I guess so, but I feel like I'd be like, why is everybody getting this house for $1 and I had to pay $1 million? I'd be offended personally.
And then Derek grew up working class in Maine and slowly kept moving his way up the insurance company in Manhattan he worked for to eventually become senior vice president. So he was making the dough.
1.5 million of it.
They ended up moving all of their belongings in between June 2014 and August 2014. And they spent about $100,000 on renovations.
Oh, okay. Just 100.
Shortly after closing on the house, the Broadduses received a disturbing letter from an unidentified person calling themselves
Santa.
No,
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a reverse Dear Santa letter.
the Watcher.
I get it now. It's the Watcher. Bum bum. But, oh, can you do the thing again?
Hold on. Called the Watcher. Okay.
Woohoo.
They ended up receiving 3 total letters from the Watcher. These letters were disturbing because it included very personal details about their children, car, and renovations they had done.
He's watchering.
Yeah. It's
Get
like,
it? Watcher-ing.
Yeah.
Watchering.
Every move you make, every breath you take.
I'm watchering you.
Okay. So Derek Broaddus became obsessive about finding who the Watcher was, which, fair, but he kind of goes to the extreme. He set up many webcams and spent nights crouched in the dark watching to see if anyone was watching the house.
Isn't that what the webcam is for? Like, why
Right,
do you
that's
also
why-
have to crouch in the dark?
Derek even spoke to a friend in the tech world and talked him into connecting him to a hacker that was willing to try breaking into Wi-Fi networks in their neighborhood to look for any suspicious documents. So obviously this was illegal and more difficult than Derek had previously thought, so they didn't go through with it.
Yeah, that's kind of crossing
Yeah.
over on a line.
Both Derek and Maria were really anxious about moving into the home. So Derek priced out how much a trained German Shepherd would cost. He also posted a job on a website looking for military veterans. The job posting stated, all you have to do is work out in the backyard every day.
Just to be like, hey, military vets. Just, I want someone strong to like.
He's like so paranoid.
Like, why doesn't he just work out in the backyard
Right?
himself?
Well,
for free.
He has a day job.
Well, he could quit his day job if it's that important.
But then he
to him.
couldn't afford the $1.3 million home.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
So the Broaddus family never actually moved into the home. Since their old home had sold, they had nowhere to go, so they moved in with Maria's parents down the road, even though they were still paying the mortgage and property taxes on the Watcher house,
Well,
which ain't cheap.
that'll put a damper on your pocketbook, as somebody said on another
Jesus.
podcast the other day.
Listen, aside, this is an aside. When he said pocketbook, like, we were talking in like a serious discussion, but you don't know how badly I wanted to interrupt and be like, okay, Grandpa, because you said pocketbook.
No, I know, because I was waiting for
I
my
literally-
opening to say it, but then it
If
was
you watch
too...
the video back where you say pocketbook, I literally look at Morgan and smirk.
I waited for like a good 5 minutes until I realized that the moment had passed. And
Yeah,
couldn't
because I
say
was like, I
anything.
can't interrupt because this is like a good discussion, so it would ruin it. So you're welcome for reading the room and not taking the easy joke.
I wanted to take the easy joke too. But I didn't.
I was like, this is serious, Meara.
I wanted to be like, oh, pocketbook? You got a pocketbook in your pocket?
Okay.
You sure it's not a wallet? That's what I wanted to say. But I didn't. I didn't
just
say
see
it.
him carrying a pocketbook around.
Pocketbook just makes me think of like,
Tinky Winky
what the fuck?
from the Teletubbies.
That's not what it
The
makes me think
the
of.
blue Teletubby, he always carried around a cow purse.
Okay, well, what?
Or no, maybe it's a cow hat, but he did carry around a purse.
Okay, what I was
Can I
thinking.
interrupt really quick?
No, because I mean, yeah, but I want to finish my thought first.
Okay.
I was gonna say I thought a pocketbook was like a checkbook that like people, you know how there's like holders for checkbooks. That's what I think of a pocketbook.
No, it's not. It's a purse.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I also have one of those things for my checkbook.
Why do you
Well,
have
yeah.
a checkbook?
Because you never know if there might be a moment where you need to write a check.
I have a checkbook too.
But what? Okay, so you mentioned something about the Teletubbies and
Yeah.
how the blue one.
Yeah.
My mic is connected to the blue light.
See, it's perfect.
I think all of those are colors of Teletubbies.
What color? Yeah, it is.
This is what Google says a pocketbook is.
Well, that's today's version. Look up a pocketbook from like 1970. My grandma always called her purse a pocketbook. She'd be like, "Hey, babe, can you hand me my pocketbook?"
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of really ugly purses.
Yeah, see? So what color am I?
I think you're green.
Oh, that's boring.
I love green.
I'm Dipsy.
I wish I was green.
You're Poe.
I don't have any frame of reference for what that means.
It's a Teletubby.
It's a Teletubby
I
thing.
understand, but I still don't understand.
Anyway,
Anyway, the point
Let's go
is
back.
pocketbooks.
pocketbooks.
The point is pocketbooks. I'm not cutting this. It's staying.
So, Derek stated that everyone speculated on why they didn't move in, whether it was because they were separating. This caused the couple to fight all the time, and Derek said, "I was a depressed wreck."
Aw. His pocketbook was probably hurting him.
Yeah. Maria actually began seeing a therapist where they diagnosed her with post-traumatic stress from the situation.
Damn.
And they told her that it probably wouldn't go away until they sold the home. So they ended up selling the home 6 months after the letters were received for only $959,000. So they sold it at a loss.
I wonder why. Like, why did the market just go down? Like,
No, because nobody wanted it. But I'll get into that later.
oh, okay. I was like,
So do you want to get into the letters? You want to find out what they said?
I do want to find out
Okay.
what they said, actually.
So, letter number 1 arrived at the Watcher house on a June evening. Derek Broaddus, which was the father of the family, was there painting walls, and once he was done, he went outside to check the mail. He found a white card-sized envelope addressed to the new owner, in quotes, in thick handwriting.
Okay, so like a Sharpie.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
I'm picturing a Sharpie.
Like one of those fat ones.
Maybe like a red Sharpie.
I don't know about
Maybe like
red.
a pink Sharpie. Okay, fine. Probably like a black
That's
Sharpie.
probably one of those black fat ones that
didn't
you
wear
write
it.
on boxes with.
Yeah.
I imagine that. I don't know why. It just seems more creepy. So the letter inside was typed and started off welcoming them, but slowly turned into a bizarre and threatening message describing how someone has been watching the house for decades, starting with the letter writer's grandfather and then father and now themselves.
Okay, so they, back at when it was a $1 house,
Yep.
they were probably like, I got $1, why can't I have this house?
I got $1. I got $1. I got $1. Hey, hey, hey. That's from the Little Rascals.
I just was going to stare at you until you stopped.
Okay. After reading the first letter, Derek became unsettled, which, fair, and called the Westfield police, who recommended not to tell others yet because their neighbors were all suspects at this point. Derek then contacted the Woods family, who were the previous owners,
Right.
asking them if they had ever received any strange letters. Andrea Woods stated they did get one, but she just dismissed it and threw it away. She's like, "This is weird," and just threw it away.
So basically she's saying you're being dramatic.
Yeah. She
She's
also
like, I just
stated
threw mine away. Why are you calling me about this shit?
she also stated that her and her husband had lived in that house for 23 years and had only heard from the Watcher once, which was right before they moved out.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So at the end,
Yeah.
intriguing, especially since it's
So,
apparently been so long. that they've
Letter
been
number
watching.
1 read, "Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. How did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors so that you can destroy the house as it was supposed to be. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Bad move.
Anybody who like writes the word tisk is so unhinged to me. Like
Yeah.
writing the word tisk.
I
like,
know.
Tisk, even just tisking out loud, feral. But like writing it,
Yeah.
tisk. What is it? TSK?
Yeah.
TSSK? How many S's are you putting in there? How many Ks? I don't
They
know.
only put one S, but still.
I don't like it.
You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy. You have children. I have seen them. So far, I think there are 3 that I have counted. Are there more on the way? Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Better for me. Was your old house too small for the growing family? Or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me. Who am I? There are hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive by 657 Boulevard each day. Maybe I'm in one. Look out any of the many windows in 657 Boulevard at all the people who stroll by each day. Maybe I am one. Welcome, my friends, welcome. Let the party begin. That was letter 1. Kind of dramatic.
Well, I wouldn't love that.
So the letter
be like-
ended...
Tisk for me. I'd be like, I've got to move.
The letter ended with a signature typed in cursive font stating, The Watcher.
You couldn't just like sign his name.
So at least he's a fancy bitch.
No, because anybody who does fancy signatures on computers, I judge you. Just do your own signature.
I judge you.
You know, the fonts are not as cool as like a actual signature.
So kind of behind the scenes, all of the letters had been processed in Kearney, which was the USPS distribution center in northern New Jersey. And the first letter was postmarked on June 4th, before the sale was public.
Wait, what? Mm-hmm. How's that possible? Because why would the kids already be there? How would the contractors already be there?
Exactly.
That's weird.
And the Woodses never put up a for sale sign. So, like, it had to be somebody that lived there that saw them. Letter number 2. It arrived 2 weeks after the first. Maria found this one and immediately recognized the thick black lettering on the envelope.
That thick Sharpie.
This time, it was addressed personally to the Broadduses. And the Watcher mentioned the 3 children in order by birth and by their nicknames.
He's watching.
The Watcher misspelled their name as Mr. and Mrs. Braddus.
I was going to say, though, Broadus is like, kind of sounds like it would be hard to spell.
It's like broad and then dus. Broaddus, but they spelled it Braddus.
They just missed an O. Not
So-
winning any spelling bees, are ya? Watcher boy.
Watcher. Maybe you should watch dictionary.
Maybe you should watch the National Spelling Bee, you
Yeah.
dunce.
You dunce.
Yeah. I like the word dunce.
Dunce and pocketbooks and... Anyway. So the letter spoke a lot about specifics of their children and a creepy reference to something hidden in the walls of the house. After letter number 2, the Broadduses became more paranoid around all of their neighbors, and they put renovations on hold and quit taking their children over to the house.
Which,
Valid.
valid.
All right.
Big valid.
So it read, Welcome again to your new home at 657 Boulevard.
I like how he likes to like say it over and over again as if they don't all know the address.
All right.
Like you don't need to repeat that. Save some of your computer ink.
The workers have been busy, and I have been watching you unload carfuls of your personal belongings. The dumpster is a nice touch. Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time they will. I am pleased to know your names now and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. You certainly say their names often. The Watcher then asked about one of the daughters in particular, asking, Is she the artist in the family? Then continued on to say, 657 Boulevard is anxious for you to move in. It has been years and years since the young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Have you found all of the secrets it holds yet? Will the young blood play in the basement? Or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream. Will they sleep in the attic? Or will you all sleep on the second floor? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I'll know as soon as you move in. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better. All of the windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. Who am I? I am the watcher and have been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now. The Woods family turned it over to you. It was their time to move on and kindly sold it when I asked them to. I pass by many times a day. 657 Boulevard is my job, my life, my obsession. And now you are too, Bradis family. Welcome to the product of your greed. Greed is what brought the past 3 families to 657 Boulevard and now has brought you to me. Have a happy moving in day. You know I will be watching.
Yeah, I would be moving to Canada. I would be like,
so
you know
weird.
what's so fun is I don't even need to be in America. Bye, and then I would move anywhere and anywhere.
And also, the thing about is she the artist in the family? That daughter, they don't release the names, which I get, or at least I didn't find them. But she had a little easel that she would paint on in the yard.
Right.
So that's what he was talking about.
Well, then obviously she's the artist in the family, you fucking idiot.
Also,
he's a creeper. I'm allowed to call him a fucking
there was
idiot.
another passage that was included. The way I found the letters, they weren't like all like nicely laid out, but in the article, the way they wrote it was really good. So I would assume it was in this one, but I'll read that too. So the watcher said, "The house is crying from all of the pain it is going through. You have changed it and made it so fancy. You are stealing its history. It cries for the past and what used to be in the time when I roamed its halls. The 1960s were a good time for 657 Boulevard, when I ran from room to room, imagining the life with the rich occupants there. The house was full of life and young blood. Then it got old and so did my father, but he kept watching until the day he died. And now I watch and wait for the day when the young blood will be mine again."
Okay, if he was old enough to be running through the halls, and now it's like like 2013 or something like that?
Yeah.
He has to be like 70.
No.
Yeah, because that was the 60s. If he's running around, he's old enough to run, so we'll call him like 10. 10.
But if he was born in like 55.
And it's 2013. That's
Like 50.
almost, no.
60.
No.
Yes.
No. No. No.
Yes.
No. He would be at least late 60s.
If he was born in 55,
Oh.
he would be 60 in 2015, so he would be in his late 50s. He would be 59 in 2014.
Well, I feel like he wasn't born in 55. I feel like he was born in 50, which would make him in his
So
60s.
he'd be running around the halls when he was 15.
What do you mean? He just said 60s. He didn't say he was running around the halls in 1965.
Okay.
It could have been 1960. It could have been 1959 and he rounded up.
Maybe.
It could have been 1952 and he's lying. Who knows? Point is he's old, is my gist. He's not a young one.
Your math skills scare me.
No, because either way, he's old. Whether he's 60 or 70, that's still an old man.
Older.
It's an older gentleman to be creeping around houses and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, letter number 3. It arrived a couple weeks after the second one. So the police weren't finding anything, so Derek Broaddus enlisted a few people to investigate on their own. The Broaddus family hired a private investigator and an ex-FBI profiler to try to figure out the so-called watcher. The profiler stated that it was probably someone in their 50s or 60s.
See? Old.
And lived nearby.
I'm an FBI profiler.
Robert Lenehan determined they were older based on their vocabulary and their habit of double spacing after a period.
He went to that. He couldn't have just been like, hey, remember that time in that letter when he said he was running around the halls in the 60s? Let me add that math together. He said it's because of the double spaces in his vocabulary. You didn't need to do that much. You could have just done math like we did 5 seconds ago.
Maybe he hired the FBI profiler from the same place that Amber Heard found her lawyers. Fair, right?
Too soon.
Anyway.
Too soon.
He also concluded that they didn't appear overtly threatening, but their erratic thoughts could suggest unpredictability.
I don't know. I feel like the second letter had threatening vibes.
Yeah.
Not the first one, but the second one, about like, oh, when I figure out who's in what room, I can plan better.
Right.
That has vibes to me.
Yeah. The private investigator staked out the area and believed that the neighbors around did not seem normal.
That's a little judgy.
Thought they were kind of sketch.
That's a little judgy of them.
The ex-FBI agent he hired to investigate, this is just a fun fact, was the agent that inspired the character of Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say it was the person who inspired, like, David Rossi in Criminal Minds.
No, that'd be cool, though.
I don't know why my mind was on Criminal Minds like that.
Also, a security firm called Kroll was also hired by the Broaddus family to look for handwriting matches to the envelopes, but nothing was found. Like, he's going to some lengths.
That's like kind of extra too, because
he's obsessed. It's obsessive.
If you think about it, he's only writing the envelope, which is just not a lot to go off of. If he was writing the whole letters, that'd be one thing, but like he's just addressing them. That's just not a lot of like.
And it's
the same letters. Like, it'd be addressed the same way every time, except for between the first and the second one.
The Broadduses were still determined to get some answers, so they hired a forensic linguist.
Yeah, they're just
who actually used to be a member of the band Sha Na Na.
What the fuck?
His name's Robert Leonard.
What the fuck is Sha Na Na?
You want to know some songs? I wrote them down.
I'm about to look them up on YouTube, actually.
Rockin' Robin.
Okay.
Tweet. Tweedledee.
I'm sorry, is that the official song, or is that your take on it?
That's how it goes. Rockin' Robin. Splish Splash, I Was Taking a Bath. The Witch Doctor song. Monster Mash. The Purple People Eater.
Please stop.
Woolly Bully. The Do Run Run. And Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini.
Oh wow, they're really big. They got some hits.
They do. They have some bangers.
Really
Oh, fuck. Anyway, he was hired to look through the local forums for language patterns that resembled the Watcher's notes.
Because he's got a really good vocabulary.
So the third letter, it read, "Where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you." It also stated in another section, 657 Boulevard is turning on me. It is coming after me. I don't understand why. What spell did you cast on it? It used to be my friend and now it is my enemy. I am in charge of 657 Boulevard. It is not in charge of me. I will fend off its bad things and wait for it to become good again. It will not punish me. I will rise again. I will be patient and wait for this to pass and for you to bring the young blood back to me. 657 Boulevard needs young blood. It needs you. Come back. Let the young blood play again like I once did. Let the young blood sleep in 657 Boulevard. Stop changing it and let it alone. He's getting a little...
weird vibes.
Yeah.
His vibes are not it on that one.
Yeah. So, let's get into the suspects, shall we?
Oh, so is that the last letter?
Yeah. There was only 3.
Honestly, the second one would have been enough for me.
Right.
Well, the first one too, kind of, but the second one really sealed the deal.
There's also a few other things that they said, but I didn't know where they went, so I kind of included them later. But let's go into the suspects.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me.
Derek and Maria Broaddus were convinced that it was their next-door neighbors, the Langfords. So Peggy Langford was the homeowner that lived next door, but she was in her 90s.
Peggy's too old to be being sus like that.
But several of her adult children lived with her, so they were in their 60s, at least.
So it wasn't Peggy.
They were described as odd people, but harmless. Michael was one of the younger siblings. He was described as a kind of Boo Radley character. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Investigators wanted to consider different neighbors that lived a couple blocks down that were child sex offenders, but nothing came of that. Also, DNA was recovered from one of the letters, and it was determined to be a woman.
How do they know you were going to say that? I just had like a feeling.
So the Broaddus family then thought it was definitely the Langford family because one of the daughters, Abby, was a real estate agent, and they thought she may be doing this because she was upset about losing out on the commission from the house selling through a different agent.
Right, but like that wouldn't be their fault. That would be like, well, no one's fault, but like the Woods'
But like
fault,
if you're crazy enough to write a letter like this, then maybe you're crazy enough to get mad about something like that.
I guess so. It seems like you're blaming the wrong person.
But Her DNA was tested and they found it wasn't a match. The Broaddus family believe that they were a part of a town conspiracy against them. They thought that the whole town was against them.
Maybe.
Many believe that it was Derek Broaddus himself that sent the letters.
Oh?
A local conspiracy theorist suggests that Derek Broaddus was from the same hometown as Stephen King, and he took his inspiration from him. The theory was that the Broaddus family were suffering buyer's remorse and realized they couldn't afford the home, so they came up with a scheme to get them out of it.
How would that work?
Records show the Broaddus family having had 12 mortgages in the past 10 years. One resident stated, "How can a couple with a $300,000 house in Scotch Plains and $175,000 mortgage 10 years ago have a $1.1 million mortgage?"
Fair.
They went from $315,000 home to a $770,000 home to a $1.3 million home.
So they're just being a little extra.
Corbin says, which was the writer of the article, despite the lawsuit claiming that the new owners already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on renovations, neighbors deny that any contractors were ever seen at the house and that no permits were ever filed with the city. Nor, he said, has the house been put on the market. Upon receipt of these alleged letters, the new owners didn't even go to the police right away. Instead, they went directly to the Union County prosecutor. Why wouldn't they just go to the cops, right?
True.
They went to a prosecutor. I mean, they did eventually. I mean, they did go to the cops, but they went to a prosecutor first. A lot of people think that it could be possible insurance fraud concocted by Derek. I don't know. So then afterwards, in 2015, the Broadduses ended up filing a lawsuit against the previous homeowners, John and Andrea Woods. The lawsuit was filed based on claims of fraudulent concealment, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, and several other issues related to the sale of the property. The case ended up getting dismissed in 2017 because the judge said it could set an unreasonable precedent for what sellers would have to disclose, which I get.
No, that's fair. Because, if they really got one letter right at the end.
Right. They didn't really. They're
They weren't even probably
and they didn't even
take
it seriously because they just threw it away.
Right. They probably forgot about it already.
Yeah. The Woodses lived in their home for 23 years without any concerns, and just a few days before they moved out, they received a letter from the Watcher. And they claimed they discarded it because they did not find it threatening at all.
Right, you also don't know what their letter said.
Right.
It could have been
And she couldn't remember.
Heard you're moving out.
Right.
It's been nice seeing ya.
Right. Nice knowing ya.
And that could have been it for all we know.
6 months after the first letter was received, the Broaddus family decided to put their house on the market, asking for $1.5 million for it, considering the renovations they had made on the house.
Right. Usually renovations are upping the value, obviously.
But then, once they disclosed the Watcher letters to the potential buyers, all of the offers fell through. Nobody wanted it. They put the home back on the market in spring of 2016, and they had a decent turnout for their open house. Derek and Maria spent hours combing over the handwriting of everyone that signed in for the open house, comparing them to the Watcher's handwriting.
I mean, decent idea.
I mean, it's just so obsessive to me.
It's a little obsessive, but, not a bad idea either.
Right. No, I mean, I get it, because, obviously, the Watcher is definitely interested in the house.
And I feel like he wouldn't think to conceal his handwriting on his sign-in. I just feel like you wouldn't think about it. You just sign it. He might not use a real name, but I still feel like he wouldn't think to change his handwriting.
So, because they were having trouble selling their home, the Broaddus family's real estate lawyer proposed the idea to have the house torn down and redevelop the lot into 2 homes. Subdivisions were becoming more and more popular in the area, but in order to do this, they needed the Westfield Planning Board to give them an exception to do this, which... It's still standing today. It's a beautiful home. But the proposal was publicly announced, and the town's Facebook groups started their chatter and all of their speculation. The proposal was put before the board in January of 2017. Over 100 residents attacked. Oh, yeah, with pitchforks. No. Over 100 residents attended, and it was over 4 hours long. Many of the townspeople were completely against tearing down the historic home. So a few people, Glenn Dumont from across the street, said tearing down the home, in quotes, would spell the end of the 600 block of Boulevard as we know it. Another neighbor stated, our neighborhoods are constantly under attack from turf, lights, parking decks, you name it. If we can't make a stand on Boulevard, where can we?
Maybe like in your own house and leave everybody else's alone to do what they want.
And then Abby Langford, which was a suspect for a minute, said that she spent almost 60 years looking at a magnificent, beautiful house and didn't want to be looking out at a driveway.
But you wouldn't. You'd be looking out at 2 houses whenever they were rebuilt. Like, they're not tearing it down and just being like, okay, this is just going to be an empty lot. I want this bitch to look at a driveway. Like, what?
So the proposal was rejected by the board unanimously. Soon after the board's rejection, a family with adult children and 2 big dogs decided they would rent 657 Boulevard and that they weren't concerned with the watcher. 2 weeks later, the watcher sent one last letter, about 2.5 years after the first. The letter was addressed, and it said, "Violent winds and bitter cold, to the vile and spiteful Derek and his wench of a wife, Meara," and was dated February 13th, which is when the Broaddus family gave their depositions in their lawsuit against the Woods family. I like the wench of a wife.
Yeah, that's
my
showing
favorite part.
That's showing his age right there.
A wench of a wife. So it stated, "You wonder who the watcher is? Turn around, idiots. Maybe you even spoke to me, one of the so-called neighbors who has no idea who the watcher could be. Or maybe you do know and are too scared to tell anyone. Good move." The letter also made statements like, and I just kind of separated these out because I didn't know exact order or anything because of the way it was written.
Right.
So, "I walked by the news trucks when they took over my neighborhood and mocked me. I watched as you watched from the dark house in an attempt to find me. Telescopes and binoculars are wonderful inventions. 657 Boulevard survived your attempted assault and stood strong with its army of supporters barricading its gates. My soldiers of the Boulevard followed my orders to a T. They carried out their mission and saved the soul of 657 Boulevard with my orders. All hail the Watcher," with 3 exclamation points.
Because 2 would be not enough and 4 would be a little over the top.
Also, there were some threats made that said about something happening to the family. He said maybe a car accident, maybe a fire, maybe something as simple as a mild illness that never seems to go away, but makes you fall sick day after day after day after day.
He thinks that he can make them sick. Car accident, sure, you're running into them, but you're burning their house down. But what are you, a witch now? You're gonna cast a spell on them and make them sick?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe the mysterious death of a pet. Loved ones suddenly die. Planes and cars and bicycles crash. Bones break.
Oh, now he's making a plane go down.
Maybe he just thinks karma's going to get them.
Okay, fine. Maybe. I think he's implying that he can cause illnesses and plane crashes.
But in 2019, they finally sold the house. This was kind of funny. There was a tweet from Derek Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
And he tweeted at Leader Times, "Hey Horace, how's the hoax theory you started about my family holding up? I'm still waiting for my apology. #gutless."
Oh my God, not a hashtag. Hashtag
I thought that was funny.
No balls.
So not only were the Broaddus family scared by the Watcher, but once the news about the Watcher was released, people in town became nervous about it, especially the children, which, valid. One Christmas Eve, several families received envelopes in their mailboxes, like after it was sold. They'd been delivered by hand to the homes of people who openly opposed the Broaddus family. The families who received these said that the letter they received was weirdly poetic, similar to the style of the Watcher. The letters were signed Friends of the Broaddus family. Come to find out in an interview, Derek Broaddus admitted that he was the one who wrote those letters to the neighbors who spoke out against his family.
Oh.
But it was very similar to the style of the Watcher, so they're like,
Well, he was probably doing that on purpose. To
makes
freak
you
him
say,
out. He's probably just trying to freak him out. He's seen them.
Or it was him all along.
I feel like if it was him all along, he wouldn't make that look similar. Because he wouldn't want people to be suspicious.
He also sounds like a very narcissistic man. So, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like if he wasn't the Watcher, he would make it look like the Watcher to freak him out. But if he was the Watcher, he wouldn't want it to look too similar because he wouldn't want people to be like,
unless his ego got in the way. And then here is current events for you. Well, kind of pop culture. Netflix won a featured rights deal for the story and is being directed by Ryan Murphy.
Who?
Ryan Murphy. He did American Horror Story.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Um,
I didn't know that. So you just
But it'll be released this year sometime, probably between August and October.
really?
Yeah.
Kind of weird that there's been no marketing for it. It's
Not
almost
yet.
August.
It's not almost August. We still have to go through July.
That's almost August to me.
But that was all I have. But before I stop, I wanted to say that the majority of the information I got was from an article on thecut.com by Reeves Wiedemann, and it was legit. He did a lot of research, and he also did interviews with people.
You went deep into
I
the
would
story.
recommend reading it. We'll attach it to the post.
Show notes.
Yeah, the
is
show
word,
notes.
Meara.
Sorry, show notes. I don't do that portion, so I don't know.
We'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
the
link it
statement.
because it was a really good read. I really enjoyed it.
Love it.
So, yeah, but that's all I have.
I do want to say, I've been holding this in since you said it. I think it's interesting in the last letter, and he said something about telescopes and binoculars.
Uh-huh.
That makes me feel like it is a neighbor, because I just feel like you'd have to be in a house to have you don't have to, but it'd be way more suspicious to just have a telescope like on the sidewalk pointed at a house. Like somebody would see that.
Yeah,
but if it was like in your room with the curtains drawn so you can only see barely, then like you could telescope more
like
incognito.
sniper vibes.
Yeah. But I feel like you can't have a telescope on a sidewalk looking up at a house, especially with the broadest dad like crouching in bushes and shit. Like he would see somebody.
Right.
I don't know. That made me feel like it had to have been maybe a neighbor.
Or it's all a farce.
Yeah, I guess
And
it is.
it was Derek the whole time.
It
And
is
that's why he knew everything, because they were his kids.
It is suspicious that the first one was postmarked before, like.
Yeah, it was actually public.
Like talking about contractors and stuff, like
Right.
when it wasn't even, they probably wouldn't have really had a lot of contractors. I mean, I guess I've never bought a house. I don't know if you bring contractors over first, but it just seems weird to me that they would have that information beforehand. But
Yeah.
I also think it's weird of him to do that. I don't really know what he hoped to gain from it, so I don't really know what I think.
Well, maybe he wanted to be like Stephen King.
Well, he's not. There's only one Stephen King, and it's Stephen King. Stevie's in a class of his own.
Stevie.
Yeah, that's my
What
nickname
up,
for him.
Stevie?
We're friends. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're friends.
You would know that if
Me
you
and
were
Steven
friends.
are friends. Sorry, Steve.
So, yeah, that's all I have.
So do you think that it was Derek all along?
I think it is, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time I'm like, you're such a skis. Like, I don't know why. I just had this weird vibe about him.
The whole
And
thing
he's
is
still
weird.
alive, so maybe he'll hear this. I'm sorry. I'm judging you without knowing you, but I think you're a skis.
Damn, okay. Derek, I don't know you like that, but I do think when you hashtag gutless, you should have hashtag no balls.
Hashtag gutless.
No, hashtag no balls. That's what I would have done. No, yeah, I could see how it could have been him for sure, but it just seems like really pointless. Like, it seems so pointless.
I just don't know why they wouldn't have found anything if it was somebody else.
Yeah, but why though? What do you get from doing that?
I don't know.
And the theory is that they couldn't afford it.
Right, but they
Well,
lost money from
But
it.
they lost money from it, and it seems like it's a really nice house. So, like, if they realize they
It is
couldn't
a
afford
very
it,
pretty house.
then they could have just tried to sell it, and it would have worked because the only thing that had it stopped it from being sold were them disclosing the Watcher stuff from it. So, like, if they couldn't afford it, they could have just sold it, and it would have sold. So that seems weird to me. I don't know.
Right.
Unless he just wanted the attention. You did say he seemed narcissistic, so
Yeah.
maybe he just wanted to, like, some, like, drawn out weird story that would bring him attention or something.
He gave me narcissistic vibes, but
I mean,
who
I don't know
knows?
you, Derek, but you could be, you could not be. I don't know your life like that.
I think you're a skis.
I also think that there's kind of weird holes in this story, like when he's talking about his grandfather and his father, and he goes from like, my grandfather watched it in the 1920s, my father watched it in the 1960s. That's like a really big gap. I don't know. Like, that just seems weird to me. It seems like a weird space of time.
I don't think so.
I think it's a weird space of time. Because his father had to be old enough to be watching it in the 20s, and then when did he have his son for him to now be watching it in the 60s? And in the 60s, I don't know. Seems like a weird time. But
Well, old people love to watch things, like sit on their porch and just watch.
so maybe it's not theirs to watch too. They're literally old. You're like, oh, it's your turn now.
It's your turn
You're
now.
60. It's your 60th birthday present. You're the house watcher now. I don't know. They're just weird.
So.
Doesn't line up. And it's weird to me, too, that there were 3 letters and then they stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why'd they stop? For what reason?
Because they stopped coming around.
Yeah, I don't, but then they sent another one.
Mm-hmm.
And then what, the new people don't get any letters?
Mm-mm.
That's weird to me, too.
Derek doesn't live there anymore.
But you feel like if Derek did it, would he not keep it up a little bit to, like, evade suspicion that it was him?
He doesn't care. He's stupid.
I'm just saying, you feel like he'd be like, oh, people think it's me. Now that I'm gone, I should probably send a couple so that it looks like it's not me.
Well, not everybody's as smart as you, Keebler.
God, I know. I'm so smart. It's so hard being so smart. It's like, I don't know. I've never sent a weird. Actually, that's not true. When I was in elementary school, Keely and I used to be on the treehouse, and when I was bored, I used to write notes claiming I was somebody watching the treehouse when we were playing. I'm a watcher. Well, that's creepy.
You are a watcher.
I literally would write letters and put it in the treehouse, pretending to be somebody that was watching us when we were in the treehouse.
You're a psycho.
I was like 10. I told her about it. She blew her mind. She was like, what? That was you? I was like, yeah, it was me.
That's so funny.
Oh, sorry, Keely.
That's so funny.
I'm a watcher.
You are.
I don't think
if a 10-year-old could come up with that, then Derek could.
Yeah, and I got away with it. She didn't think it was me at all. And I don't think I disguised my handwriting, so maybe Keely, sorry, you don't listen to this probably, but you just weren't looking at my handwriting and doing handwriting analysis, I guess. That's fair.
That's so funny.
Ooh, I'm funny.
That was a great aside.
No, I seriously, it's like, swear to God.
That's so funny.
I don't know how many I did. I have a really bad memory, but I definitely at least did a couple, I think. Huh. I think she thought at the time it was her sister, so she didn't think it was like a stranger.
Yeah.
I think she thought it was like her sister trying to creep us out, but it was me.
You little sneaky bitch.
I'm a watcher. Wait, do the sound. I'm a watcher. I love it so much. But no, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I can't decide if I think it was him or if it was...
I think it was him. That's my opinion.
That's fair.
All right, you want to talk about the socials?
Follow us.
That's it. Just follow us. My belly, man.
Follow us on social media. Facebook and Instagram.
And Twitter.
And TikTok. We still haven't posted a TikTok. That's okay, though. And...
Hope you like link trees.
Oh, yeah. If you don't like a link tree, I'm so sorry, but we have a link tree and we will not be getting rid of it. And you can go on the link tree to find all of our social medias and to find where you want to listen to the podcast. And we have a Google form now, which I don't remember if we actually brought up that we have on here, but you can suggest episodes and it's super easy. You literally just have to click on the link tree, submit a topic. It'll take you to the cute little Google form. You type in your topic, you click submit. It's submitted. It's super easy. And then we can see like specific things that you guys want to see. There's just so many things, too many choices. I was staring at my list for next week and I was like, I don't even know what I want to do right now. So you could help us narrow it down by saying what you want to hear. So yeah, and then rate and review us. Remember what we said last week? If you rate and review us, we'll read your review on the podcast. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all we have for you today. Hope you enjoyed the creepy house.
Yeah.
Let us know if you would have moved out or if you would have been like, fuck it, and moved in. Because, I mean, you could have. I can't decide what I would have done. Part of me makes me feel like I would have moved to Canada. Part of me feels like I would just get really heavy curtains and be like, bitch, you're going to watch me now. And then you wouldn't be able to because I have curtains.
That's right. Curtains save lives.
Yeah, or one-sided windows.
Yeah.
I fully support one-sided windows. Not like, at police. Well, I guess it's probably the same thing as like police one-way stuff.
One-way mirror.
But like not a mirror.
Or I guess all mirrors are
I didn't even think about that.
Two-way mirror.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like in a Cinderella story with Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
What?
No, maybe I have.
That's where she's dancing on the other side of the mirror.
And it has Drew Seeley?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they're like, da-da-da. Shwa, shwa, shwa. They're like
Yeah,
dancing with
I
each
remember
other
that.
and they don't even know it. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. We're stopping
That's
now.
it. Thank you for listening.
And we are
Mysteriosities.
My like voice cracked on accident. I got nervous.